Okay. Please start by telling who you are and what you do exactly.
Okay. Well, my name is Jeroen van Mastrigt, or fully Jeroen van Mastrigt Ide. And I'm the chairman of the Dutch Game Garden. And the Dutch Game Garden is an incubator with small companies, and also has a building with larger companies, and there are about 40 companies under one roof. So that's a thing that I do, and furthermore I have my own company called WeLoveYourWork, and we advise organizations in the field of the application of game design, and we produce gameful innovation.
Okay, and when you say small companies, you mean small game companies?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Small
no,
game
that's no
companies.
problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So companies that create games, all kinds of games. Yeah.
Are there a lot of them?
In the Netherlands, there are about 300 game companies, I suppose, and well, we with us there are 45, so a large portion of them is with us. Mm-hmm. And that happened in 10 years. So in 2002 there were hardly any game companies in the Netherlands, 4, and now there are about 300. So yeah, it's growing.
Yeah, but there are not all companies who aim at health.
No. But 50% of the Dutch game companies are applying games and game design in all kinds of sectors. So heritage, for instance, or education, or business organization matters. So games are being applied for lots of different purposes, marketing, of course, and lots of companies also work in that field.
Why are you here today? What's your story?
Well, I'm here for several reasons. I'm part of the organization. I'm in the program board, and tomorrow I'm going to present 2 presentations on gamification and gameful innovation. So this is why I'm here. And furthermore, I think it's very important that we think about how to use games in healthcare. In 2030, about 25% of Dutch population has to work in healthcare in order to fulfill the demand. That's not going to happen. No. So we really
25%?
Actually 25%. Yeah, that's the latest study. So you really need innovative ideas in order to be able to deal with all the things that are going to happen. Yeah, we are having more older people than younger people. Younger people are becoming less of them, so there's less younger people that can work and take care of the older people. So we have to think of games or apps or all kinds. And on the other hand, all the technology is changing very fast, so we can use that maybe to do something about all the problems we have.
Mm-hmm. So that's the reason why games for health are important.
Yes, that's the reason.
Because it's problem solving.
Exactly. Yeah. You can create games to do things better. That's one thing. Yeah. So, for instance, you can't learn how to ride a bike from reading a book, but you might learn how to ride a bike from playing a game. And so games are very good at teaching people do things. So, for instance, for doctors, etc., you can use these games to actually practice things that you cannot practice otherwise, or you need a lot of dead people and other kinds of things. So that is important. But also
they become better at their skills.
At their skills. Yeah. But also, for instance, therapy. I worked on a game for children with non-acquired brain damage. So children who had a stroke, for instance, brain stroke, and we created a game with which they can do a part of the revalidation while playing a Wii game, and do exercises that are very difficult and painful in a more effective and more fun way. Yeah.
Mm. Does the audience, do people take games for health seriously, or would they rather have, well, nurses and drugs and?
Well, there's a few things are difficult still. We in hospitals, people are rediscovering the patient. They forgot the patient for a while. They were very busy with systems, technology, finding out the latest in research. But it's about people, and yeah, it's very important that we are going to look at the people again, because with systems only you are not going to win the war. So looking at people is very important. So creating experiences that are relevant is very important, and games are very good at that, I suppose. I'm sorry, I missed your question a little bit.
If games for health are taken seriously by patients.
Yeah, that's it. So they are taken more and more seriously, especially in the Netherlands. Netherlands is quite liberal in that demand. So in the Netherlands they're taken seriously. But I work also in Japan, for instance, and in Japan it's still a bit like in the 50s here. The doctor is God. He knows everything and he knows what's good for you, and the patient is a little person. And well, throughout the world things are changing also because we have to. What I told earlier, that so many people have to work in healthcare because of the huge demand for healthcare, makes it that we have to take games seriously. We can't just forget about them. And then for children and young people, games are the new dominant medium. Yeah, they play more games than they watch television or go to the movies. So it is a really important medium, and you can do a lot of interesting things with it.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a big trend going on in games for health?
Well, one of the big trends is the connection of the real world and the virtual world. So first we created games like virtual worlds, which you could use to teach or in therapy. But what we now do is create games that make a connection with the real world because of sensors, for instance, or with mobile phones. So, for instance, I don't know if you know, Nike has a device called Nike Fuel Band. That's a device with which you can count all your movements. Yeah. And basically, I'm a bit too heavy, so I have to lose weight, and I can use these sensors to track my movement, and then I can say I want to reach a certain goal. So I'm going to work for it, and I can share it with my friends on Facebook, and I get all kinds of currencies that I can maybe spend somewhere else. So it is about motivating me in the real life, and that is a trend that is really going on, and I call that trend real virtuality instead of virtual reality. So connecting the virtual world with the real world. Yeah,
yeah. Sometimes it seems like that people think games for health are the solution for everything. Are there also fields where it doesn't work?
Yes, of course. Yeah. It is very. People don't always understand what games actually are, but I'll give you a little example. For instance, if you games are about doing things, and if you want to create a game to teach children, for instance, all the fish that live in the sea, you could make a game with a little submarine, and you could steer it, and you could see the fish, and then well, a nice way maybe to teach it. For children, what they actually learn is how to steer a submarine, but not what the fish actually are. So you can better, in that case, put an aquarium in the class and talk about the fish. So games are about what you do and not about what you see. So they're not movies. Some things you better do with movies, and some things you better do with games, and some things you do better with a book. So you have to really understand what games are.
Yeah, and what you can achieve with them. Yeah. What does the world look like in 10 years' time if you look at games for health?
Well, I think we see a huge growth at the moment of the companies that are applying game technology, of the customers who want it. Games are becoming more and more mainstream and normal. The game industry has changed tremendously because of the iPhone and the iPad. So the distribution is also becoming easier, and little companies can create games that can distribute it. So that's one trend. Another trend is what I told, the real virtuality, so connection with all these sensors and all this ubiquitous technology. That is something that is going to happen, and then the demand will grow because, as I said, in 2030 we will have a huge demand for healthcare, and not a lot of people who can actually work in healthcare. So all these trends together make games for health a very important cause.
Growth business.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite game for health?
My favorite game for health, I really have to think, because there are so many. But My favorite at the moment is I think the Nike Fuel Band. I'm really trying to lose weight by tracking my own movement, and the game it's not really a game itself, it is more the capturing of the data, and there's also a lot of things wrong about it, but it's a first step. It's a big brand that brings the sensor technology to the people. It works very easy with your smartphone, and it gives me an insight on what is going to happen in the future. So
yeah. And you use it yourself?
I use it myself, all the time.
Yeah. And how are you doing?
Well, I was doing very good, but lately I had some trouble. I was doing very good in a holiday, so that worked very well. But then I had to work again, and a lot of stress, and you see it go down. But then you also can think of, hey, when I'm stressful, I have to take extra care, go to the gym more often. But then you start to forget it every now and then, so it gets a bit crappy. Another thing that is problematic is if you bike with it, for instance, it doesn't record anything. Because biking, you don't move your hands, so there's also a problem. But I'm sure that all these problems in the future will
be solved. Yeah. Okay. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.